What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Through Hine Show. Today is August 17th, 2021. This video, I want to be continuing my series of doing some record predictions for each NFL team. I recently finished a video of the Indianapolis Colts, so make sure you go check that out. This is also of another AFC South team. This is of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have the first pick in this draft. Obviously, they took Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars, they have lots of hype around them. Getting Lawrence, they bring in, Travis Etienne. That was quite a surprise of a pick there in the first round as well. They bring in Urban Meyer, who's won multiple championships. He's won a championship with Florida and Ohio State. And then you look at, they obviously they brought in Tim Tebow. That was a major shot to everybody there. So there's lots of hype around Jacksonville for the first time in quite some time. And it's very interesting. Look at Jacksonville's roster. They have some nice young guys, but honestly, they don't really have much experience at all. Really, really interested to see how Jacksonville performs this season, especially, playing in the AFC South, which in my opinion is probably easily the worst division in the NFL right now. So let's get into this Jaguars prediction. Week 1, they go on the road, and Trevor Lawrence is more than likely first ever start as an NFL quarterback. He gets a win here against the Houston Texans. In my opinion, the Houston Texans are without a doubt currently the worst team in the NFL. I recently did my record prediction of them, and I did not have them winning a single game. And I think this is going to be a really nice performance here by Lawrence in Jacksonville in Week 1. Because, Deshaun Watson will not be playing for the Texans. They do not have a good roster at all. So I think we see Jacksonville get their first win of the season in Week 1. Week 2, they host the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos, I cannot wait to see them play this season. If Drew Lock can be consistent, or whether it's Teddy Bridgewater starting for Denver this season, if either one of those quarterbacks can be consistent, watch out for Denver. They have so many talented players in offense. They're definitely a playoff contender if those guys can just, play average. They have so many talented players in offense. They have so many talented players in defense. And they're definitely one of the most underrated teams, in my opinion. I have Jacksonville losing here because you look at, Denver's offense with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. Just too much offensive power there for Jacksonville's defense. They drop to 1-1. Week 3, they host the Arizona Cardinals. I have them losing this game here. This is a game against former number 1 overall pick and also Heisman winner. Kyler Murray going against Trevor Lawrence, who was also the number 1 pick as well. I think this has potential to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to take Arizona here. One thing about Jacksonville this season, there's going to be lots of games this year looking at their schedule. If they were a more experienced team, I would have them winning more games, but having just so many young guys is going to be kind of hard for me to pick some of these games here and potential upsets. I had them losing here in Week 3 to drop to 1-2. Week 4, Trevor Lawrence plays another former number 1 overall pick in Joe Burrow, a rematch in a national championship game. I cannot wait for this game. I feel like this game has potential to be very, very good. But you look at the Bengals offense, Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, Boyd, Chase, an improved offensive line, despite people say it's not better, which it is. I just really feel like the Bengals offense, kind of like Denver, it's going to be too much for Jacksonville's defense to handle. Have the Bengals winning this one here, and Jacksonville drops to 1-3. Week 5, they host the Tennessee Titans, and some people think the Tennessee Titans are going to win the AFC South. That is wrong, in my opinion. I think it's hands down going to be the Colts. And I feel like their matchups against Tennessee might be closer than people think. I think the Titans are severely overrated. There were times last year, despite winning their division, the Titans did not really, look all that great. They lost to the Bengals last year, who, that was only their second win with Joe Burrow as a starting quarterback. And, the Titans at times have shown that they are inconsistent. Major question mark on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to have the Titans winning here, but I feel that these games are going to be closer than people think. Week 6, they host the Miami Dolphins, and The Dolphins have a great team. They're a really nice roster. I think they're playoff contenders. But Tua Tagovailoa is the major question mark here in Miami. If he can stay consistent, I think Miami's going to be a dangerous team. But we don't know. Tua, despite them winning last year, Tua did not perform very well at all with the Dolphins. I feel like, if the Jacksonville Jaguars are more experienced, I think they can maybe have an upset here. But I'm gonna stay smart here and pick the Dolphins with a win, and Jacksonville drops to 1-5. Heading into week 7, that's actually their bye week. They're 1-5. Not really good. I mean, I guess it can be worse. But when you have so many unexperienced guys on offense and defense, it's going to be hard to win a lot of games, especially the first half of your season. As we continue here in week 8, they go to take on the Seattle Seahawks. I feel like this game has potential to be a very nice game. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, they're a really nice team. Obviously, the playoff contenders, but it seems like every single year they've proven time and time again that there are times where they look like they're the best team in the NFL, and then a week later they look like they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. I feel like if the Jacksonville Jaguars would have a major upset, I feel like this could possibly be it. Russell Wilson, his inconsistent play last season, and really Seattle's defense, their inconsistent play was just crazy. I have Jacksonville losing here, but I feel like this one might be closer than people think. Jacksonville drops to 1-6. Week 9, they host the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are just absolutely, they're going to be one of the better teams in the AFC. Josh Allen was phenomenal last year. I expect them to have double-digit wins again. And definitely, Josh Allen have another MVP-like season. This will be a long day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They drop to 1-7. Week 10, they go on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts, to me, are hands down the favorite in the AFC South. Very, very, very underrated. Sleeper and dark horses for the Super Bowl. This will be a long day for Jacksonville just because you look at the Colts. They have a tremendous offensive line. They have a tremendous defense. They have some nice weapons at wide receiver. They have a really nice running back in Jonathan Taylor. And if Carson Wentz can stay healthy, I honestly think he's an MVP candidate. I think this will be a long day for Jacksonville. They drop to 1-8. Week 11, they host the San Francisco 49ers. And regardless of whether it's Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo, I still feel like San Francisco will win this game here. They just have a much better roster than Jacksonville. They drop to 1-9 on the season. Week 12, they host the Atlanta Falcons, and I can see the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this game. I have them losing, but I would not be shocked at all if they would end up winning this game here, against the Atlanta Falcons. This looks like this could possibly be maybe Matt Ryan's last year with Atlanta. The Atlanta is going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. I would say they're going to have another top 10 pick again. I feel like this game has potential to get a win here for Jacksonville. But I'm playing on the safe side. I want to take them with a loss. But this is really a coin flip here in week 12. Week 13, they go on the road to take on the Chargers. The Chargers, in my opinion, are going to be very, very tough. They improved their offensive line significantly to help Justin Herbert, who I think is going to have a breakout year. I have the Jaguars losing this one here to drop to 1-11. Week 14, they take on the Tennessee Titans, and I actually had them winning here. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like these games are going to be much closer than people think. And like I also mentioned, the Titans are capable of having some upset losses. And we saw last year how they were shockingly upset against the Cincinnati Bengals. And, there were other times, despite maybe not losing, they did not perform very well in their wins. And I think this is a huge win for Jacksonville here. I mean, this is a playoff contender with the Tennessee Titans, and getting a win here in Tennessee. It's very huge, for their team to build some confidence towards the end of the season. Week 15, they actually get another win here, and this is against the Houston Texans. They sweep the Texans because, they're definitely going to be sweeping the Texans because the Texans are not going to win a game this year. Back-to-back wins for Jacksonville. All of a sudden, they're 3-11. That's not horrible considering how young this team is, how unexperienced this team is. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, they were 1-11, now they're 3-11, 2-game win streak. Great to see, especially for a young team like Jacksonville. Let's continue here. In Week 16, I had them losing at the New York Jets. This is another one of those coin flip games. I would not be shocked at all if we saw Jacksonville winning. 2 very, very nice, young, talented teams. You have a Trevor Lawrence, who was the first pick overall, Zach Wilson, who was the second pick overall. This is going to be an awesome game to watch. 2 of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in a very long time, right up there with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Have Jacksonville losing this one. They dropped to 3-12. Week 17, they take on Week 17, they take on the New England Patriots and actually lose this game here. If you look at the records against Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks, it is just absolutely absurd. You look at Justin Herbert last year, for example. The Patriots shut out Justin Herbert and the Chargers last year 45-0. Justin Herbert, statistically, was the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen last year, and they shut them out. That is just absolutely crazy. I feel like it's going to be a very, very long day for Jacksonville. They lose this one and drop to 3-13. And to finish it off, they take on going to be the AFC South champs, the dark horse Super Bowl contenders, and the Indianapolis Colts. They lose this game to drop to 3-14 in their final game of the season. So my record prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars is 3-14. I don't think that's horrible considering looking at their roster and looking at their schedule. Despite playing in the AFC South, in my opinion, which is the easiest division in the league, they actually have some very, very tough games. So look at some of these non-division games. I mean, you're playing at New England, at the Chargers, San Francisco, Buffalo, those type of teams. And I think this is a very difficult schedule for Jacksonville. If they were more experienced, I would definitely be giving them more wins. My ceiling for Jacksonville is 6-11. I mentioned Atlanta as a toss-up. The Jets as a toss-up as well. Maybe they get one more, upset win. Maybe it's against Miami or Arizona, or who knows. But I feel like Jacksonville, maybe they'll get 3 or 4 wins this year. Maybe next year they'll get 7 or 8, and you slowly rebuild into maybe a playoff team in year 3 under Trevor Lawrence. And my floor for them is 2-11, and those 2 wins will be against the Texans. Despite even if the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't good this season, I still expect them to win at least 2 games, and both those games being against Houston. But thank you all so much for listening. If you can like this video, I would really, really appreciate it. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all next time on the Sports 2 Show.